The rivalry today, the number 2 ranked lacrosse team in the United States, Cornell, against the number 3 ranked Syracuse Orangemen. Just a couple of weeks ago, it was the Big Red against the Orangemen in the NCAA basketball championship. Today, a battle of the same colors and the same intensity. The sport is lacrosse. The Big Red of Cornell and the Syracuse Orangemen on Super Sports. Hi again, everybody. Dave Cohen along with Dale Drypolter here in the Carrier Dome. And I make the analogy, Dale, between the basketball and the lacrosse because everybody knew about Indiana's weapon, Steve Alford, and the Cornell Big Red have a small player who's very similar to what he does in this game. He gets free without the ball, and he scores. His name is John Wurzburger.
John Wurzburger does just what you said. He moves very well without the ball. That's very important in the sport of lacrosse. He's only 5'6". He's a local kid out of the Syracuse area, West Genesee High School product. He's got 19 goals and no assists, but he's a guy who's very sneaky, and if you concentrate too much on his stick, he'll move away from it. If you try to watch his body, he's got a great stick, so he can really hurt you a couple of different ways. Doesn't throw many assists, but he's a guy who's looking for the cage.
They call him a Smurf, and he's got another Smurf there with him, as well as a Stork. The other Smurf is Tim Goldstein, a transfer from Hofstra.
Yeah, he transferred up to the Long Island school. He's got him at 5'10". I don't think he's quite that tall, but he's got 10 goals, but more importantly, he's got 26 assists, and he looks for Wurzburger a lot. So if these two connect today, Syracuse is going to have to watch them. 15 Goldstein and, of course, Wurzburger, because they're a very good combination. They work very well together.
Wurzburger is 5'6", Goldstein a towering 5'8", and they've got 6'3" Steve Meyer teaming with them for Cornell. And they're among some of the players that Cornell has on offense, and they'll all be shooting at the Syracuse goalie, number 10, Matt Palin, making his first start at home in the Dome.
Matt's kind of an interesting story. He was a freshman. They talked about redshirting him, and he decided he really didn't want a redshirt. He'd take his chances and get a chance to see him in action against, I believe it's Brown, down in the mud, knocked one back out. And that's one of the most difficult things for a young goalie to do, is be able to stay after that rebound. There he goes down to the left, ball in the mud again. He's going to get no such problems with the ball today here in the Dome, but he does a nice job of outletting the ball. And there he is, Matthew Palin, out of Jamesville DeWitt High School. And it's really tough for a freshman to play college lacrosse at this level, but in the goal it's even more impressive, Dave, and he's a fine athlete.
That's right. He is an excellent athlete. Jim Gyrey, who had been the starter, a fifth-year senior, replaced in the nets. And they say Palin has a little bit of that daring that Tommy Nims used to have for Syracuse, and so you can't sit back and expect just the norm when you've got a freshman there to begin with and an outstanding athlete as well in Matt Palin.
He should do some exciting things when he gets the ball and outside the goal.
We should mention anytime you play Cornell, you're meeting the fiery Irishman Richie Moran. Always has some kind of trick up his sleeve. He's got an undefeated team, 6-0. They haven't won here in the Dome since 1982. Syracuse has won 4 straight games against them, but Cornell is the favorite in this game, and Syracuse likes being the underdog.
Well, they have been. Last year's game was a rout, 22-7, and Cornell said they'd like to get that out of their mind. They'd like to replace it with this game, and there's Richie Moran right there. And as you said, he's always got something up his sleeve. He does a great job. He gets a lot of mileage out of his people, and I think that if this was going to be a big game for Cornell, this is it for their season so far.
We'll be back to meet the starters in today's game, and we'll have the opening face-off right after this. And now let's meet the starting lineups for Cornell on the attack. Number 15, Tim Goldstein out of Stony Brook, Long Island. 10 goals, 26 assists. Steve Meyer from West Hempstead, 14 goals, 6 assists. And West Genesee's John Wurzburger, he has scored 19 times. In the midfield, Cockeysville, Maryland's Vince Angotti, 2 goals, 2 assists. Paul Kaner out of Canandaigua with 4 goals and 1 assist. And Wantagh, Long Island's Bob Cummings, 6 goals, 3 assists. On defense, number 16, Tim Vivian. He's from New Canaan, Connecticut. Also number 34, Aaron Jones out of Hempstead, Long Island. And Steve Paletta, Fox Lane High School at Bedford, New York. The goalie is Paul Schmoller, Ivy League Rookie of the Year a year ago, stopping 63% of his shots. Paul Schmoller out of Brooksville, Long Island. Now for Syracuse, Gordy Mapes, Tom Nelson, and John Zilberti on the attack. Mapes 10 goals, 7 assists. Nelson 11 and 8. John Zilberti 6 and 10. The Syracuse midfield, Rhett Kavanaugh, Todd Curry, Pat Donahue. Kavanaugh 7 goals, 5 assists. Todd Curry 12 and 5. Donahue 1 goal, 1 assist. The Syracuse defense is Mike O'Donnell, Dan Pratt, and Jim McNamara. And they'll all be playing in front of the freshman goalie out of Janesville DeWitt High School, Matt Palem, making his first start at home for the Syracuse Orangemen, who are coached by Roy Simmons Jr. A late arriving crowd here in the Carrier Dome getting set to see Cornell and Syracuse meet for the 70th time in the history of this sport. And this game features a matchup of two outstanding college lacrosse coaches. On the left is Roy Simmons Jr. and Richie Moran of Cornell is on the right. Cornell with 3 national championships, Syracuse with 1. And these two schools could be in the national championship again this year. Now the matchups at midfield. Once again, the goalies, Matt Palem and Paul Schmoller. And if that name Schmoller sounds familiar to Syracuse lacrosse fans, Paul's older brother John played for Syracuse. Their father, Lewis, played for Cornell. Matt Palem, out of Janesville DeWitt High School, spent 1 semester, I believe, at West Genesee High School, where his dad, Pete Palem, has been a long-time head football coach. Then he transferred back to Janesville DeWitt. And there he is in the nets, his first home start. And what an exciting and nervous moment this will be for Matt Palem. In the goal for Syracuse. And the face-off now. Paul Kaner and Pat Donahue. Kavanaugh in pursuit, and Keener has it far side. Good contingent of Cornell spectators on hand as Kavanaugh is on Keener. Going back to Bob Cummings, one of the quicker Cornell Big Red players. They feed the crease for a quick shot and a save by Palem, and a big one. And it's picked up quickly though. Cornell with another shot on goal, and there's the score. So the initial save made by Palem, and then it came back into the stick of Cornell. And the first goal of the game belongs to the Big Red after just 27 seconds.
Well, Keener did score that goal. We're going to see, I believe, the first shot. This may be the goal. Yes, it is the goal. Beat him high, had a pretty good screen on him from about 25 yards out. And that gives the Big Red a 1-0 lead. And, of course, they'd like to see that against a freshman goalie, Dave. Let's see if they can get him rattled early. Let's see what the call is on the face.
It's Joe Lizio on the face-off that time, and Steve Meyer gets an assist on that first goal. A legal procedure gives it back to the Big Red. Opening minute of this game, and Cornell with 2 quick shots and 1 goal. They lead it 1-0.
Richie Moran.
Richie Moran's wondering who has the horn at the scorer's table.
Yeah, there is no horn. They want to get people in, so they're. In fact, they started right there, but there was nobody with a horn.
And so now we will await the air horn at the scorer's table. Now it makes its appearance. And we're set to resume.
They're going to make sure that the man with the horn is in the correct position. There are 3 officials working this game, but no official working in the box.
Cornell in control. Caliendro feeds the crease. Quick stick. There's the goal. And that time it's number 17, John Wertzberger, scoring his 20th goal of the year. He had 8 goals in the game earlier this year, the most by a Cornell player in nearly 2 decades.
Wertzberger just pops out from behind. There is nobody on him. He's absolutely open. That wasn't Matt Palem's fault. They jumped late. Number 31, O'Donnell, jumped. But watch how open he is and how much time he gets to place the shot. And you can't give Wertzberger, the 5'6" spark plug out of West Genesee High School, that much room. Syracuse also not able to control the face-off.
Kavanaugh on the far side, shoved from behind, and they will get it. The Orange have not crossed midfield yet, and in the first minute of the game, they're down 2-0. Lightning quick start by Cornell.
They're also going to get this ball. I thought the initial call was for Syracuse possession, but they now signal that it is Cornell, and Syracuse will have to quickly get into position. Only a minute 46 gone, and it's a 2-0 lead for Cornell.
Outside they go to Cummings. This is Mike Cummings. Now Joe Lizio, number 14. Looking for a man. He's got Caliendro, gets it on a return. Beautiful play. They feed the crease. A high shot is saved by Palem. And Cummings stepped into the crease after the shot.
They ran a give and go. It worked pretty well, but by the time they got the ball to Cummings, after they ran that shot off, Cummings not able to take a good shot and got his foot in. Watch what happens. They're looking for the crease. There's the feed. There's the save, initial save by Palom, and then the ball down, and you see the foot in the crease.
Excellent ball movement by the Big Red. That was a beautifully orchestrated play. Matt Palom now cranking it up. Syracuse is yet to cross midfield with the ball. They really haven't even had possession.
Well, they haven't, and that's how important that face-off is. They had a pushing penalty in the last one, gave Cornell the possession, but right now Matt Palom's going to have a little pressure as he's going to have to clear the ball.
And they're sending him right back, and he's shoved, and that will draw the attention of the official.
That's 30 seconds. That was not a smart play by Steve Meyer, who was playing good defense, but the possession, the ball was right in the stick of Matt Palom.
30-second penalty on Cornell. Steve Meyer, number 27, pushing against Cornell.
We get the PA announcer, Carl Eilenberg, makes the official announcement, but that not only gives Syracuse a free clear, but it's going to give a man-up situation for 30 seconds.
But you wonder, Dale, if they're up already 2-0, why not try it and see if they can rattle Palom even more? Now Syracuse with a man up, working the ball counterclockwise.
Syracuse taking their time on this man up. Good slides for Cornell.
Out to the point, Curry cranks and fires, and a save by Schmoller. Nearly took his head off, but he comes up with it. Now he dumps it off to one of his defensemen, Vivian. He'll get the return pass.
Now they're going to put some pressure on the ball because Syracuse is man up.
Zoberti was there pressuring. Aaron Jones now to the midfield area. He's got Keener. Stick checked away by Burt and picked up by Keener. He's got great legs. Up ahead he goes. And now he's got Steve Meyer again.
They're all even now, Dave.
Meyer being played by McNamara on the quick handoff. They go way across field. A skip pass. Now they feed the crease again. They tried to get the man coming in from the blind side, from the back door. And it's unsuccessful. Syracuse gets it, and they were closest to it.
There's the man who has faced a lot of shots for a game only 2.5 minutes old. Syracuse series leads this series record 40-27. Last year at Cornell it was, I believe, a 22-7 game, and Syracuse really didn't have much competition in that one, but Cornell certainly off to a good start in this one.
And they walk it up very slowly.
Last time they jumped Palom at the last minute. They want to put a lot of pressure on him, make him force the pass.
Goes to O'Donnell now, crossfield the far side to Pratt. McNamara's open on the near side, out of your picture. Instead, he throws it up ahead, and into the box comes Syracuse quickly. They look to find the open man, Tom Nelson. Out to this side to Curry. Now one of the Gate brothers is on. And Nelson again. Todd Curry. Syracuse relying on him at the point at the top of the attack. Give and go. Shot, and it's high and wide. Brett Kavanaugh got the fine feed from Curry, and the Orange will retain possession.
Big Red defense only giving up 6.8 goals per game, and Schmoller's a good goalie. He's got some good defensemen there with him. We'll get them in a second, but the point is Syracuse is facing a good, tough defense.
There's Paul Gate, the Canadian.
They jumped him.
He's got good size. Curry rifles his shot, and Schmoller saved it. And stepping in.
Interference. He touched the stick, and that's going to give him a free clear up at the midfield line.
John Zoberti was the man. He may have even had his foot on the line as well as interfering with the goalie, and we'll get another look at it. The shot comes from Todd Curry.
Now watch, there's an invisible cylinder. There's the save. Now watch, the ball's still out, but the defenseman pops it back. Now he's got it right there. He touched the stick. The invisible cylinder right there. Syracuse gave a free clear now to Cornell, and they throw the ball away. We're back to live action, but let's mention Cornell's defense. Vivian, Jones, and Paletta have been doing a fine job all year and did a good job on that last Syracuse offensive series.
Really an unforced error that time against Cornell. The Big Red of Richie Moran, 6-0. Syracuse with a record of 4-2. Losses to North Carolina and Adelphi. Shocking loss to Adelphi.
Shocking, especially by the score, Dave, 19-9. You know, it's one of those, on any given day you could get knocked off, but the 10-goal margin, I think, was the real shocker.
John Desko, the very vocal Syracuse assistant coach, as the ball comes right in front of him. And now Syracuse gets it into the attacking half of the field. They work it quickly. Again, Nelson will direct the action from behind. Peter Allen's on, number 15. Now Chris Rossi, 21.
McCormick was on him.
Nelson with the ball. Being played by Vivian. Feeds the crease, and Courtney Mapes stand on the shot. Cornell's going to get it.
There's the quick look, looking for the crease. There's Mapes, but the ball knocked out.
He had room to shoot, but he just didn't make the catch before shooting it. Now Schmoller. We're nearly 5 minutes into the game. Cornell with a pair of goals in the opening minute, and they lead it 2-0. Vivian having trouble playing it. Now to Bob Cummings. Cummings double team. Syracuse applying pressure. They get it back to Vivian in the corner. Nelson's going to stand in front of him. Upfield and intercepted momentarily. Picked up, however, by Cornell and shoved out of bounds and into the Syracuse bench.
I don't think is there pushing call?
Might be.
Yes. Let's see if we see it there. He's going down the sideline. There's the push. Yep, that pushed him in the direction he didn't want to go. A good call. That was Vivian with the ball, and he was forced out of bounds, and Syracuse will be down for 30 seconds.
30 seconds pushing.
So Steve Meyer will have it in his stick as we begin play rather quickly. Meyer gets it back, playing catch with Tim Goldstein. Now Caliendro, Mike Cummings. They work the ball around nicely. Watch somebody sneaking in from the weak side away from where the ball is. Wertzberger's in the slot. He's a very small target in there, but he's got one goal already. Meyer goes to Caliendro. Now Goldstein eludes a body check. Looking to feed, he does, and traffic the shot to score. Wertzberger again. At one time, they were high school teammates, John Wertzberger and Matt Palem.
We'll see on the replay. Watch the pass. Matt Palem looks, he's backing just a little bit out of position, but Wertzberger is getting free on the crease, and he came up left-handed on that shot, but they are not really knocking that ball down. They're not helping Matt Palem out defensively.
What a homecoming for John Wertzberger. And did you see the way he waited there for O'Donnell to clear across the crease, and then he scored? We'll be right back. And here's the way they stack up according to the U.S. Intercollegiate Lacrosse Association rankings. Maryland is on top. Cornell and Syracuse, as you know, 2 and 3. Johns Hopkins beaten by Syracuse, and North Carolina, a winner over the Orangemen, are 4 and 5. Navy, Virginia, Brown. And the rest of the top 10, Loyola and Adelphi. Loose play at midfield, picked up by Caliendro, and the big Cornell contingent is enjoying that. Now Todd Francis, 37. Gets a step on Donahue, gets by everybody, he shoots, he scores! Great individual effort by Francis.
Well, Syracuse had taken a timeout. They wanted to stop and talk a little bit to the defense, but both defensemen get beat. McNamara comes over, but it's not in time, and the left-handed shot by Todd Francis hops by Palem, and Syracuse, unable to control the face-off on that particular occasion, cost him a goal. Donahue and Lizio had actually battled to a draw, but they came up and got the face in that fast break.
Syracuse sent out a new face-off man, Bill Durgel, and he's facing off against Joe Lizio. Illegal procedure, and the Orangemen get it.
Durgel's a 205-pounder. They used him early in the season. We saw when we did the games here, Dave, and then he was kind of relegated to also showing up at that face-off circle, but he's getting more duty today early with 9:08 left in the first quarter.
And Syracuse is down 4-0 against Cornell. Gate outside. Not much offensive movement right now by Syracuse.
Good man-to-man defense by Cornell.
Courtney Mapes down to a knee. Being held in check, and he throws it away, intended for Tom Nelson.
Paletta, 43, who did the job defensively for Cornell, and they forced that turnover, and Syracuse not taking any time off the clock when they're in the offensive end, and they're not getting much offensive production, not getting many shots. As a matter of fact, we've got Syracuse with 3 shots.
Tim Vivian, defenseman, gets it way upfield, and very quickly Cornell into their offense. As Goldstein finds Cummings. This is Bob Cummings. Cornell looks like a quicker team out there. Vince Angotti is on for the first time, number 7 in the midfield. This is Goldstein being played by McNamara, and shaking free of him and feeding the slot for Angotti. Cornell picks up another ground ball.
You know, it's not just enough for the defense to play good defense and not let them get a goal. They've got to be able to do some things like take the ball away and create some situations. And Coach Simmons has been quoted as saying he'd like to see more of that from his defense.
More than just playing well positionally.
That's right. You've got to be able to make things happen, especially when, now there's going to be a 1 minute as
McNamara got Goldstein.
Goldstein, as you said, he took McNamara behind a couple times. I think he's very, very quick. And the tendency is, Dave, to get your stick up a little bit and be a little bit ready to put the stick on him and watch what happens when that stick. There it is right there. It came up. An obvious penalty, and that's a difficult situation. Now, Matt Palem has had really only one situation where I think he had a pretty decent shot at stopping the ball. The other 3 have been situations where he has had 1 or 2 man-up goal situations.
Mike Cummings. Let's see who Cornell runs through the middle. It's Caliendro cutting that way, number 22. There's a shot from Cummings up high, and he beats Palem.
That's their second man-up goal. Matt Palem looks like he might be a little excited here. Let's see, this is a man-up.
Mike
Cummings with this shot makes him 2 for 2 on man-up, and I think he had him screened a little bit.
Watch, he goes left and the shot goes right. And he's not getting much help.
Face-off would help right here. Donahue comes up for it. Yeah, they gets it over to Rhett Kavanaugh, and Syracuse starts
and
a break.
And he overshoots his man, intended for Curry. Curry tries to tap it ahead from Mapes. They ride him off the play, and a whistle stops it. Syracuse will get possession.
Number 37, Todd Francis from Cornell, pushed away from the ball. That will give Syracuse, with no possession, they will get the ball, however, and number 11 for Syracuse, John Zilberti, who has been hampered by a blood clot that he had in his arm earlier, and missed some practice, is not right in his midseason form yet, and that is not helping the Syracuse offense.
Cornell goals by Keener, a pair by Wurzburger, Francis, and Cummings. 5-0. And here's Paul Gate. Out of British Columbia, low shot, and Schmoller was down there to save it, even before the shot. And the quick outlet pass. And here comes Cornell again. Syracuse does a good job to get back and take away the fast break from Long. And now Dan Pratt has it, trying to outrace Long, but he's not going to be successful. Leaves it for Curry, who can't play it. Curry back into the fray, now he has it. And he goes to Gate, unsettled situation. It's 3-on-3, fake, and knocked away from behind. And a fine defensive play by Paletta. He and Aaron Jones are slapping fives on the ball, goes out of bounds.
Well, Paletta came up from the back. It took a second for Mapes, I think, to get the ball, or excuse me, I'll pick it up. Number 5, it took Nelson a while to get the ball in his stick the way he wanted, and by the time he got it right, Paletta came by and took it right out of his hand. A nice play by Paletta.
Like a fighter not being able to get off quickly on the punch. Nelson took his time on the shot, and he paid for it from behind as Paletta got there.
I was going to say, that's giving Schmoller and the defense a lot of confidence now, and they feel really cocky at this point. And that's the way you'd like them to feel against a team that they said was probably the best offensive team they will have faced all year.
Cummings going back to Angotti. Syracuse looking disorganized and confused offensively. Behind the cage, it's Goldstein. Gets a great screen from Meyer. Just a tremendous screen. The bodies are flying. Meyer paid for it coming back, but Cornell still has it.
Meyer, 6'3", as you said, sets an impressive screen.
Looks like Indiana's basketball team out there with the way they screen.
McNamara
with the steal.
That's what they wanted to see out of the defense. Now they got to do something with it.
And he goes to Pratt, but Pratt's going to have trouble. Goldstein's all over him. And Cornell takes it away again.
Number 15 from Cornell, playing both ends of the field, played defense against Pratt. Pratt never had a chance to really get control of the ball, went off of his stick. And Cornell, once again, is taking a lot of initiative and hustling all the time, and they are going to keep the ball in their goal area, Syracuse's goal area, and that is something that Syracuse would like to see changed.
Again, it's Goldstein. Feeds the crease. Syracuse can't take the ball away.
They still got to play good position now.
Mulligan, number 11, moving well on McNamara, giving him every fake in the book. Now Goldstein draws Dan Pratt defensively. Caliandro
warding.
And Syracuse will get it back. Chris Burt on the play for the Orangemen.
Man, that was an obvious one. He brought his hand up and pushed off. Syracuse playing more aggressively, but you know, before they were a little bit out of position. They'd play over aggressively and they'd be able to get the ball out and there'd be somebody open, but playing a little bit better body position now on Cornell, at least in that last series. But once again, they've had problems clearing and getting rid of the ball. Now they're going to put Matt Palem with the ball over in front of his cage.
5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Cornell leads it 5-0.
And they're going to jump Palem right away, and they're going to give it up to the wing defenseman. That's Pratt.
Dan Pratt, far side. Now in the middle, Palem, and the near side, O'Donnell. If Cornell has an advantage, I think their defensemen are more mobile and active with the ball than the Syracuse defensemen.
Well, they're doing a nice job here of riding Syracuse and looking for the forced error. They get the ball up to Pratt. He may be able to take it over if they're onside.
And he does. Kavanaugh stays onside. Here comes Pratt for a shot. Saved by Schmoller again. He was down anticipating the low shot.
And you notice how quickly transition game goes to Cornell, but they may slow it down to get some of their short stick middies on, and they are going to do just that. But Syracuse on the transition just not able to come up with a quick burst of speed. Of course, Pratt was the defenseman out of position taking the shot, and Cornell just upped it and got back up the field, got their people on, settled it down.
And now it's Goldstein. McNamara on him. Goldstein has it checked away by McNamara, but Goldstein in pursuit picks it up, feeds, and there's a save by Palem, an excellent save off the shot from in close. And now the Orange look to leg it up in a hurry. It is Todd Curry dropping bodies in his wake. Curry switching hands, faking, losing the ball, and getting it back. Keener is all over him, rides him out of bounds.
Good hustle.
He's pushed out of bounds.
Good hustle by Keener, but that's going to be a push. Syracuse will be man up for 30 seconds, but that's the exuberance of Cornell. They are hustling and running from one end of the field to the other, and we'll see. The ball's on the ground. Keener trying to get something. He does push right there. Good call.
So now Syracuse really in need of a goal to get it going offensively. Down 5-0 with 3:38 to go in this first quarter.
Cornell penalty.
Dave Cohen and Dale Dreipolcher with you on today's game as Syracuse sends on. Greg Burns on the attack. Number 14.
So Syracuse second man up opportunity.
Zilberti. Greg Burns. Now Curry. And which way are they going to go? Up to the top it goes to Curry.
Over to Burns.
He gets it into Burns. He tried to shoot before he caught it. And Cornell takes it away. Francis down the sideline.
Boy, is he fast.
It is a 4-on-3 if they hurry, and Syracuse gets back to take it away. Meyer in the slot. Number 27, Meyer spots the open man. Here's a one-on-one. Wurzburger giving it up to Goldstein.
On a crease.
And a behind-the-back shot. Beautiful goal by Steve Meyer, and it is now 6-0.
Dave, I saw the jump. Matt Palem saw the jump.
And very quickly, Richie Moran was on the field complaining. Roy Simmons went on.
Here's the replay. Meyer got loose. He took a backhand shot into the goal.
Something happened after that goal. Richie Moran was at midfield.
And you can't do that.
One of the Syracuse staff pushed Roy Simmons onto the field to tell him to complain about Moran being on. And then the official, Walt Munsey, dropped a flag. The young man there in the blue and white striped shirt got behind Simmons, told him to come on the field.
Goal! 11 players! 1 minute penalty on Cornell. 1 minute penalty.
He said, I think he's complaining there were too many men on the field, and that the goal should be disallowed.
There were 11
If they haven't, if the complaint is taken before the next face, before the next whistle, Dave, they could take the goal away.
Richie Moran ran on the field, maybe to try to get the extra man off.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. This is interesting.
And this is a game being officiated by 3 men on the field.
Oh boy, I tell you what, Dave, this is going to take a while to get this one back in.
Right now the score is 6-0.
Oh, you know, you can even hear from the field mics the confusion that's going on, and what's overshadowed is the fact that Syracuse...
Let's see if we can eavesdrop a little in front of our camera down there and microphone.
If that's what happened, well, Richie Moran got an unsportsmanlike for going on the field.
There's really no way that the officials who did not see the extra man on the field could ever reverse it.
Not now. If they saw it then and counted it, they could reverse it, but not now. It's too late.
Roy Simmons is pleading his case, saying, why did he run on the field? Well, obviously it was to get that man off. But the officials never saw it. All they saw was Moran on the field. So the goal will stand, 11 men or not. And Syracuse has that kind of uphill struggle with 2:50 to go in this first quarter.
Well, they've got it. They will now be up a man on a non-releasable, unsportsmanlike. So no matter what happens, they'll be up for a minute. But whether or not they can get this face-off and make something out of that 1-minute penalty, we will see.
Well,
Keener on the face, ball's down. Syracuse has it.
Bill Durgel has it. To this point in the game, Syracuse has clearly been outplayed. Now we'll see if emotions can do something about the strategies and the play on the field. Todd Curry mishandling the pass. Greg Burns has it, and he gets it back. Burns, a freshman, also out of Janesville DeWitt High School.
Mapes, Zilberti, and Burns down there.
Zilberti, marker is
Flag
down, delayed call. Burns had the open cage and it was knocked out of his stick.
They are really having trouble handling the ball. Now Cornell will be 2 men down as number 16, Vivian, detected on a slash. Let's see, there's the slash. Let's see if we can let it go, guys. Let's see what happens on this ball. He just lost it. He did not get checked. I was just going to say, Syracuse does not look like they're handling the ball well, and that was a case in point, Dave. He didn't get checked. He just lost the handle on it.
Back we go. Syracuse with a 2-man advantage now. They've got to score now.
Well, it would shatter their confidence, I think, if they didn't score now. Now Cornell is...
And Curry gives it up. Here's the shot. There's the save by Schroeder.
And he's just going to cheap it.
And he tosses it up in the air. Cornell could end up with it with a great shot opportunity. Meyer goes down. They nearly had the ball, 2 men down with a chance to score. And now Pratt. Upfield he goes to Rossi.
Cornell's now only 1 man down.
Down they go to Nelson. Nelson feeds the crease, and they miss the shot. So Bernie back to Burns, and they still can't get a good shot on Cage. And Schmoller has it, and we've got a whistle.
We're going to call a moving pick push against Cornell.
Aaron Jones, the leader spiritually, at least of that Cornell defense, is fired up on the field, number 34.
Watch Aaron Jones and company. Watch, there's the save. Ball goes behind. Syracuse gets the pass from Nelson. They take another one. Burns, bang, another save. And then the ball's out and down. And then they get not much of a shot off, but enough to make him catch the ball. And boy, that really picked up Cornell's spirits. Not that they needed picking up with a 6-0 lead.
Paul Gate comes on, number 39. Behind the cage, it's Zilberti. Over the top, he goes to Curry. He's going to crank, and the shot is wide. And Syracuse will keep it now with 1:15 to go. Vivian comes back on. Steve Long comes on. Rhett Kavanaugh for Syracuse. There's Vivian, number 16.
Syracuse has had 4 man-up attempts and no goals, Dave. And then one, they were 2 men up after that unsportsmanlike on Richie Moran.
And here we go. Nelson, Vivian's on him. Excellent man-to-man defense by Cornell. Nelson somehow holds on, and he's in for the shot, but they took the ball away. And it's Vivian. Gate doesn't get to him before Vivian dumps it off to Francis. Changing directions nicely against Kavanaugh, coming in. Save made by Palem. And that was just a great individual effort by Palem, because Cornell's Francis went right through the defense for the second time in the game.
I was going to say, one of the problems they have is that they're getting shots. They're not knocking him off his course, and he continues on down the field. Watch Francis with the big stick. Great job of protecting the stick. 1, 2, 3, and the ball actually changed direction. So Francis has played very well. And their defense is doing the things that Richie Moran wants, making things happen and starting the transition game. They said they didn't want to get in the running and shooting game, but that's what it is, and they're doing very well at it so far.
Now it's Steve Meyer with Cummings outside, and Gotti cuts to the crease. He's there, and Palem with another big save. But Syracuse has trouble clearing it. It's Goldstein down to 20 seconds to go in this first quarter. It has been all Cornell, and it could be even more. Keener, Palem with another good save. Matt's getting his confidence now. 10 seconds to go. We may not see another shot in this quarter.
Just hold right onto it, Matthew, or cheap it.
That he does. And it's intercepted by Schmoller. That was a shot on goal. And the end of quarter number 1. Woo! Cornell 6 and Syracuse nothing. We'll be right back. Wurzburger a pair, Francis, Cummings, and Meyer. The last one a disputed goal in which Syracuse figured Cornell had 11 men on the field. Jim Gyrey, who had been Syracuse's starting goalie, on the sidelines. He's ready.
Incidentally, he was the first guy out in that first Syracuse timeout when they had problems to pat Matt Palem on the back and say, hang in there, because he knows what it's like.
And Palem with a couple of strong saves in the late going in the first quarter. But he was rocked for 2 goals in the opening half minute of the game. Man up goals, Syracuse 0 for 4, and Cornell has converted twice.
You know, the hustle factor that's not on there, Syracuse just not being able to get to the ball as much as Cornell was, and not able to make things happen defensively.
Donahue, Kavanaugh had trouble getting it in his stick initially, now he does. And he's got Donahue on the left wing. Donahue takes it in, fires, and it's a bouncer in front of Schmoller. That ball would have bounced over the cage, but Schmoller nevertheless gathered it in. It's been a regular Hoover so far, vacuuming everything up in sight.
Syracuse got 1 shot off, and then they're right back down playing defense again, which has been the name of the game. And now Cornell going to slow it down, play a little controlled offense, crowd up that crease, see if they can screen the freshman goalie. There's a Ward.
There's Caliendo. Donahue is against him. Meyer down to Goldstein. The Big Red leads at 6-0.
O'Donnell was on Goldstein. They pass off now.
Steve Meyer, the stork among the Smurfs,
losing
track,
beat.
And he scores.
Now that's not Matt Palem's fault. It'd be nice if you could come up with a save like that, but it's difficult when you get beat and you're coming around the goalie. Watch right there, the position is all over, and now you got 36 square feet to protect, and Steve Meyer made the most of it. Watch him go on O'Donnell. Right there, it was just a fake, like he was going to go around, and there is the open cage, so to speak.
That is the second goal of the game for Steve Meyer. He scored the last 2, and Cornell now to a 7-0 lead. Illegal procedure on the face-off, and Syracuse is going to get it.
A lot of procedure calls on the face-offs. And Syracuse gets that one. They have got to break the net. They've got to get to Schmoller. They've got to put one by him. It's 7-0. They really have to get some offensive work going.
And with few exceptions, Syracuse has had only 1 shot at a time. No rebounds. Schmoller's been able to gather everything up cleanly. 1 minute into quarter number 2. Kavanaugh in isolation going 1-on-1. And he coughs up the ball. Pauletta takes it away. Aaron Jones draws a triple team, dumps it to Vivian. Was Cornell onside or off?
He just made it.
There's Meyer, one-on-one, feeding the weak side of the crease to Goldstein. Cummings was open up at the top.
Now with a 7-goal lead, Cornell can afford to say, let's just take our time here and we'll take some good shots.
Ryan McCormick has come on and come off, number 33. Keener's coming on. He draws Chris Bedwini as defensive company. And Gotti moving on Kavanaugh. Give and go. And Gotti lost his man. He got the ball back, but he fanned on the shot. He completely lost Red Kavanaugh and had a golden opportunity. Now Curry on Angotti. Changing direction, but Angotti does a good job staying with him. And he lost the angle on the shot. Did Curry? Schmoller was there. And a Syracuse man steps in. So Cornell gets it back. I thought Angotti did a fine job of retreating and playing the fakes of Todd Curry.
Well, they haven't done much wrong today. 12:52 left in the first half with a 7-0 lead. And Richie Moran's biggest game, obviously this season, I would have to say probably in the last couple of years, he has not made the playoffs in the last 4 years, and he's pointing to him this year undefeated and heading toward the Ivy League crown.
When we get a chance, we'll show you a man on the Cornell bench manning a wireless headset. Cornell using an eye in the sky a la football, and you see baseball teams using it now. They have a coach upstairs. A big hit at midfield leaves a Cornell player, Lizio, on the ground. Another big hit. Syracuse dropping bodies, but not putting points on the scoreboard. Scaramazino, number 19, against Lizio.
Well, they are all over the ball. Lizio takes a shot.
Lizio's been down twice in the last minute, and Syracuse can't pick up the ground ball. A frustrated McNamara swinging at Steve Meyer.
Now, Meyer pushed him to begin with, so... Syracuse putting some bodies on the ground. They are hustling after the ground balls. They have not been on top of it all day. They've not been very lucky with the bounce of the ball, which happens. There they are. Look at the bodies on the ball, and it ends up between somebody's legs, back down again, and they lose it, and out the other side comes Cornell. But they did push, and Syracuse will now have an opportunity to clear it. Freshman goalie Matt Palom, who's seen a lot of action.
These are two AstroTurf teams. Cornell plays on it down at Sholkoff, Syracuse here, and they practice at Coyne Field, so each team very much at home on this kind of surface. Chris Rossi.
Offside.
It's a delayed call as Mapes works against Paletta.
Can't lose the ball now.
He feeds the
Shot.
crease, and the shot is high and wide by Greg Burns. And another man-up situation coming now for Syracuse. 11:34 to go in this half.
This will be Syracuse's 5th man-up attempt. They have no goals yet. And at one point when they had them down 2 men, it must have been very frustrating. Schmoller made a nice save on one, and they have been playing tough defense, both even and man down.
Still 7-0 Cornell. Curry, Rossi, Mapes, Zoberti. And Curry again. They give him room, about 10 yards. Zoberti, they had it taken away. And Schmoller's in his protected area. He picks it up. And he's got it as Syracuse stepped in. Another crease violation.
Vivian did a nice job for Cornell, number 16. And they eventually got the ball to Schmoller, the goalie, but Syracuse once again with a penalty, and that has hurt them today, even not so much in penalty box type penalties, but in terms of losing possession. Long pass.
Over the head of the intended man, deep downfield, as they would say. Kevin Moran, the son of the Cornell coach. Moran's a 5'9" junior.
Now 7 goals is
not insurmountable.
I was going to say it's a sizable sum, but Dave, you and I have seen that it is not insurmountable, and there's a lot of time left. But as you said, you've got to start looking for Syracuse to develop some offensive momentum, or it could be a long afternoon for them. Matt
Palom walking it up. Now Mike O'Donnell, and in midfield,
Boy, they're
it's
really
Chris
using
Rossi.
that sideline.
Got sandwiched with his teammate McNamara. O'Donnell has to give it up to Palin. They're going to take a run at him.
Great ride. They are really putting the pressure on Syracuse.
Now Pratt. They're really making Syracuse think.
Now they're collapsing on that man over on the midfield line.
And they do a good job there trying to take it away from Gate. Behind the cage he goes to Zilberti. Mapes comes back there to set a pick, but he can't. Zilberti has it knocked away. Burns can't pick it up, and it belongs to Schmoller. Somebody's lost a stick on the field. Stick is still on the field. As Cornell
Nice check by Burt from
has
behind.
it taken away. Syracuse looks to reverse it and transition the other way.
Greg Burns, 14 with it on the right wing. He's going to get it down to the attack, and he gets it down to Zilberti.
John Zilberti, outstanding freshman a year ago, was bothered by a blood clot in his arm. Missed a number of practices and hasn't been the offensive threat that he was as a freshman. And Zilberti missing the shot, but Syracuse retains possession. Tom Nelson comes on now.
Just going to say, unusually, Syracuse has not had that many shots, and they were right on that one after the ball went out of bounds, so Syracuse is going to get another opportunity. And you can hear him saying pick right as they line up. Two men behind, and Gordy Mapes going to take it out up to the midfield. There's a flag down. I believe that Cornell is offside again.
Gate feeding behind the cage to Mapes in close. Shot.
Another save.
Smothered. And that shot by Peter Allen stopped in close.
Clark Mercer, one of the officials, I think we should watch the save. Schmoller has been really hot in the cage. There it is. Oh, that's a modified body stick save.
Cornell, too many men on the field. 30-second penalty.
Well, that time they found Cornell with too many on the field, but it wasn't the same kind of situation.
They're sending a unit on. They're sending a unit on apparently, and somebody doesn't know that they're not on the unit anymore, and they're getting too many men on the field.
9 minutes to go in the first half. Chris Rossi's going to fire. Defense did a good job, Francis, and he's getting the accolade of his goalie teammate, Schmoller. Now Zilberti trying
right
to
over the
split
head.
the defense. He pays the price and he scores. Oh, what an effort there by John Zilberti. The ice has been broken.
There will be no penalty. I believe it was a hold, but you're right. They finally broke through. They thought that there was some steel across that 36 square feet, and it was Schmoller, but they got between his legs on this one. I think it goes down low, but they really mugged Zilberti. Watch Zilberti. I mean, they're all over him, and there he is, high low. Yep, right between the legs.
Well, Dale, it took 21 minutes and 8 seconds for Syracuse to score a goal in this game. And John Zilberti did it all by himself.
Keener out there for Cornell on the face as we look at the replay of John Zilberti's goal.
And now we'll see if there's any switch in momentum.
There was a hold. Keener, number 25, has got a kind of an interesting style. What he does is he gets out and he holds you with the stick or the arm and then gets the ball out, but he was detected on that one.
And Syracuse gets it back. Down now 7-1.
This is how the faceoffs become important now. You know, in other games you have to kick off, give the ball back. Syracuse, you get an opportunity to get it back and you get right in the game.
Lacrosse is a sport in which you see goals scored in bunches. And Syracuse certainly hoping for that. They're down 7-1. Gate off the isolation, scores!
I was just going to say, Schmoller's been hot, but once you break the ice sometimes, it's like they've lost that protective coating. Superman lost his cape, I guess, and they really got another one very quickly.
That was Paul Gate scoring.
Syracuse comes back with a goal by number 39, Paul Gate.
And they're getting the crowd back in the game. Watch, right off. They got the face-off as a result of Keener's holding, and there's the shot, left-handed.
A little bit unusual. He went to his right and still shot it left. 2 goals in a matter of seconds after going 21 minutes without scoring.
Big stick out there on the face-off.
And here's an opportunity by Meyer, and he comes back with his 3rd goal of the game.
That hurts.
And the Cornell side comes back to life. 3 goals by Steve Meyer.
Syracuse winning their share of faceoffs, but that was a crucial one. They would have liked to have had, at least not to give up a goal, but there was an unsettled situation. Big stick on the wing came up with a face.
And now the teams trading goals, the last 2 at least. And a whistle stops the ball. A push gives it to the Orangemen. 8-2, Cornell leads. Lots of time to go in this game and in this quarter. 8 minutes, 13 seconds remaining. We're in quarter number 2. Todd Curry. Will he do it by himself?
Well, they're waiting for him to do it by himself. They're waiting. They had a posse right there.
He gets it back. Mulligan hit him. And what's the call here?
Illegal pick.
It's set by McNamara. So Curry did the work, and McNamara picked up the penalty. Little John Wertzberger's on the field again for Cornell. He's got a pair of goals.
You know, these are the games they really make it work as a coach.
Sometime during the course of this game, we'll keep a camera on him alone and isolate the way he moves without the ball. Here's Cornell off the exchange. Behind the cage, it's Goldstein. Faking the pick and roll with Meyer. Goldstein outside to Keener. Changes directions beautifully. Saved by Palem. Loose ball, and Palem gathers it in.
Now McNamara scooted it back to him. And this is what Cornell wants. They want a little unsettled. They want to force Palem, the freshman goalie, to clear. And now they're going to put pressure on while they change on the fly. And Curry's got it.
And he gets it quickly to the far side of the field. Now they come back to this wing to Kavanaugh. They let Cornell drop back. As Syracuse makes changes, Chris Berduini comes off. And Paul Gate is coming on. Ball is in the stick of Gordy Mapes. Out he goes to Gate.
Not much movement
they
on
take
that
away
crease.
the one-on-one opportunity. And Curry rifling it high, beating Schmoller.
And an unnecessary roughness or an illegal check. There is some speed on this piece of rubber. Whoa, hard to slow down on the instant replay, and you see the hit that Curry took afterward. And that's going to give Syracuse a man up.
That was an aspirin tablet fired by Schmoller.
Boy, that's hard. And Syracuse has not had that outside shot. Coach Simmons said that he really has missed Corey from last year, Tom Corey, who had such a hard shot, Dave.
That goal's going to signal a timeout from Richie Moran. Moran senses a possible shift in the momentum, and we'll be back with Cornell leading at 8-3. Back in the Carrier Dome, Dave Cohen, Dale Drypolcher, the crowd getting behind Syracuse. Cornell has a large contingent here as well. There's the Cornell assistant coach with his wireless walkie-talkie device. Nothing that you wouldn't find in your average football game, but a little bit unusual to see it in lacrosse. Obviously, Cornell with another coach higher up in the Carrier Dome watching the action.
Keener once again in the faceoff. Donahue controls this one.
And he looks to spot a man. He gets Curry. Who better than Todd Curry? He's going to slow it down and wait for his team to even out numbers-wise. And here comes Burns and Rossi.
They had a defensive midi on there. They wanted to make sure they got their big sticks on, or their shorter sticks on.
Syracuse with a man advantage.
And they will be up as a result of that shot on Curry.
Zoberti going up to Curry in the slot. Deflected. Nothing very intricate about Syracuse's strategy. They just go to Curry and let him rifle it.
Well, that's one of the things that can work best when he's been hot on all your set plays. Try it from the outside, and he's a little frustrated, as are all the Orangemen. so far this afternoon.
Curry and Zilberti have 2 of the 3 Syracuse goals. Curry's got it now. He cranks. It's deflected high in the air, and Syracuse keeps it with Rossi. Now Zilberti again. Here comes Curry one more time. Saved by Schmoller. Up ahead on the quick outlet. Nicely done. And they got an unsettled situation. Wurzburger can't pick it up and get the handle.
Well, they had some problems in that unsettled situation of getting back on D and picking everybody up, but they finally did a nice job. You got to give Cornell credit, but Syracuse got back defensively and saved what could have been a disastrous situation. But Cummings, number 9, came in by himself. He's going to get the ball. Now they got Bird on him.
And Cummings being played by Scaramuzzino. Cornell wants to slow it down now. Goldstein feeds the crease. Score! Wurzburger beating McNamara to the point, and he got the fine feed. John Wurzburger with his 3rd goal of the game.
Cornell runs a real motion offense. They have people like going around in a wheel, and they just keep wheeling the ball around and replacing people until they get you open, and that's exactly what happened on that. Everybody's moving. Watch all the movement. Watch your movement. Where's the ball going to go? And, of course, that's a tough thing to do defensively. You've got to watch all the movement.
Now we'll see individually. John Wurzburger, we call him the Steve Alford of Cornell. He just moves well without the ball, and he got to the spot. The easiest thing about that was the shot.
Yeah, it was, and that's the kind of offense they run, and it's tough to play defensively. You've got movement all the time.
So Cornell has answered the challenge with 2 straight goals, and now they pick it up again, looking to do more damage.
.506 in the half, and Cornell getting their people on.
Evan Conway, number 45, is in the game. He's a senior out of Lansing High School in Lansing, New York, Ithaca High School.
Look at all the movement. See all the movement? Look at him just wheeling from one end to the other, and boy, that's going to tire you out. Defense has really got their job.
Weak side feed to Wurzburger, and he didn't have an angle on that possible 4th goal. They had the intention, and they executed it well. He just ran out of real estate on the far side.
Now Syracuse has got some new big stick middies coming in. They got to give guys some rest. That's a tough offense to cover, Richie Moran's motion offense.
Goldstein being played by Pratt. McNamara's on Meyer. It's 9-3 Cornell. A year ago, Syracuse won 22-7.
You know,
and there's that same play again, intended this time for Mike Cummings.
When you have so many people in motion, Dave, it's hard with a slowdown like a one-on-one. The defensive man gets a chance to check and knock the ball away. But when everybody's moving and the ball's moving so quickly, it's really difficult to make things happen defensively.
Those last 2 plays Cornell has run almost like an alley-oop. They throw the ball from a long way to the far side of the cage, and then a man sneaks in at the last second to make the catch and attempt the 1-foot shot. Chris Rossi at midfield. They're going to converge on him, but he beats the Big Red. He's heading down toward the corner. Gordy Mapes vacates that area. Francis is on Rossi. Now it's Tom Nelson, played by Vivian. Under 4 minutes to go in this half. Syracuse is down by 6. Here's Peter Allen. Saved by Schmoller, standing right up in the spot. He didn't have to move at all.
Hit it right in the stick. Syracuse going to play both ends now. They're going to hustle now defensively the attack, see if they can get a turnover.
Zilberti providing the ride. Now Paletta looks at Mapes. Schmoller, one of the few times he's had to come out. Gives it up to Cummings. They send it back to Paletta. Good stick handling by Cornell. And they get it to Aaron Jones. They successfully bring it across. Cummings stays onside. Jones finds a man. It's Mulligan. Mulligan on McNamara. Now Goldstein takes the 1 bounce pass.
As they widen out here with the cameras, you go left, guys, when you pan. Watch the movement of all the Cornell players. Watch it.
Oh, great one-on-one move. And a score by Cummings. He literally faked Peter Allen off his feet, and he went around him like Mercury.
You know, just we were going to set them up for the movement. They just did a great one-on-one, and you said it right there. Watch, there's the move, and Cummings, Bob Cummings, goes the one high hopper, and that's 10-3 with 2:57 left, and the face-offs become more important.
Cornell fans love that Bob, right?
Yeah.
Cornell's goal.
10-3 now by the Big Red. Donahue took a big hit,
Unassisted. Goal
and
by Cummings.
he's finally up now, and with his stick, and Donahue picks up the loose ball, sends it back to Palem. Syracuse tries to get something going. They had a brief flurry early. Here's Kavanaugh. He may be run down from behind. He feeds in close. Can they get the angle for the shot? Schmoller with a great save.
Schmoller and Paletta also in there. Right behind him. Most teams will do that. They will send the defenseman who kind of sags off, will go in the goal on the shot.
Jim Gyrie warming up along the sidelines. Here comes Zilberti, one-on-one. Tries to shake free of Vivian. He gives it up. And it goes beyond the grasp of Rhett Kavanaugh.
They jumped him.
Curry says, stay on that side of the field. Stay with it. Kavanaugh does.
Well, they're going to jump him.
Clock moving down toward 2 minutes. That's right in the face. No flag, and a shot that's errant. Curry took a stick right to the cage.
We're going to call a little brush on that. Didn't slow him up, honey. 2 minutes.
There's Zilberti. He tried to go low, and Aaron Jones knocked it away. Cornell has all the answers so far as Curry's pass is intercepted by Paletta. Vivian. Up ahead and into the middle. He's got Evan Conway.
Pass break, big sticks.
Conway gives it up just in time to Meyer. Goldstein faking. 360 move, and he backs it out.
They're trying to get the big sticks off now. Evan Conway's off. And they get Hanlon back on. Timeout, Cornell.
And with a minute 21, Cornell wants possession. Cornell will talk it over and try to figure out how to put one more goal on the board. And we will be back right after this. Dave Cohen and Dale Drypulcher with you in the Carrier Dome. It has been a game that Cornell has dominated right from the start. They lead it 10-3. Every phase of the game has been dominated by Cornell. We can't use that word, overuse it, in describing the play of Richie Moran's team. Jim Gyrie on the sidelines, warming up. He may be the man Syracuse goes to in the second half.
Well, Matt Palem's got a lot of talent, but Gyrie's got a lot more experience, and we might see a change. It's nothing against many of the goals on Matt Palem have, of course, not been his fault. You'd like to see him come up with one of those spectaculars, and it really picks the defense up. But Syracuse has not played well offensively either.
And Cornell looking to get one more. Bob Cummings can't handle it. Syracuse comes away with it. Chris Burt ahead to Chris Beduini. Cornell does such a good job of getting back and preventing Syracuse from getting it going. Now Gordy Mapes against Paletta. And Syracuse takes a timeout with 52 seconds to go.
Syracuse time.
They would like to set up a play and go in down by 6 at 10-4 and maybe carry some momentum over into that second half, where they are going to have to play a lot better than they did in the first half. Not to say they can't. I think it's going to take a little while to get the problems wrinkled out, and of course as a coach you'd love to be able to sit them down for 15 or 20 minutes. They'll get some opportunity at halftime, but they got a lot of things to work out.
Right there in the middle of the huddle is Tim Nelson, the all-time leading scorer in college lacrosse history. He's talking to the offense. To the right, John Desko is talking to the defense.
Syracuse, last time they played, they defeated Brown 11-8. And Cornell really took the measure of Yale 16-6. And as we said, they have played Army and some other teams, but this was the game at this point in the season that they were pointing to. And last year we said Syracuse 22-7, and Richie Moran tried to downplay that in the paper, but I think his kids were thinking it as they came into this game.
And still to come this season, games involving Cornell and Hobart and Syracuse and Hobart. So upstate lacrosse supremacy very much up in the air as these three schools play the round robin. 52 seconds to go. And here we go. Todd Curry sends it out to Paul Gate. He's got one goal. Gives it back. Hard shot. Smothered out at the point. Both Gate brothers are on. Paul and Gary. Where's the ball? Syracuse man may have been in the crease, but he was pushed in. And so with 32 seconds to go, Syracuse retains possession. And John Gilberti will trigger it in.
Yeah, that was a push, illegal push. If you go in the crease with a legal push, it would still count against you, but Syracuse gets the ball fast.
And a quick attempt off the stick of Tom Nelson. 6 seconds off the clock, 26 seconds to go as Gordy Mapes starts it. Got the pick from Gilberti. Paletta is all over Mapes. Can he work for the shot? It's wide. And Syracuse keeps it with 18 seconds to go.
Paletta, great body defense there on Mapes. Changed the shot. He really couldn't put the stick where he wanted to, and as a result, the ball was wide of the cage.
Now it's going to be Curry with a jump shot, and Schmoler's there. 10 seconds to go, and Syracuse probably won't get another shot. Long pass with 2 seconds, and that is it. So the end of the first half of today's Cornell-Syracuse game, and it continues to be Cornell dominating play. They lead it at the half, 10-3, and we'll be right back with our halftime activities after these words. Cornell's Steve Meyer has continued his streak. He has scored in every one of the 7 games that the Big Red has played this year. He's got 3 goals in the first half. 3 goals also by John Wurzburger out of West Genesee, and 2 goals by Bob Cummings. And so Cornell at the half leads Syracuse by a score of 10-3. All 3 Syracuse goals in the second quarter. John Gilberti unassisted, Paul Gate unassisted, and then Todd Curry with an assist to Paul Gate. It's been Cornell leading this 70th renewal of the rivalry from the beginning of the game right up until halftime by a score of 10-3, and we'll return with more after these words. Back in the Carrier Dome, there is your score, and a surprising one at the half. Cornell leading Syracuse 10-3. The Syracuse people said that they were the underdogs coming in, and they certainly played that way in the first half. Take nothing away from Cornell, but Syracuse really was not on their game, and Cornell just did everything they could do right.
And they got to Matt Palem early, the freshman goalie, who's been outstanding the last couple of games. I think they got to him early. I think that really affected the whole defense.
2 goals in the opening minute of the game.
Absolutely.
We've got some highlights of first half action. 13 goals scored in all. Here's a great one-on-one move, Bob Cummings.
Bob Cummings from Cornell went right, then came left and put the ball down low.
He had 2 goals in the first half, Bob Cummings.
One of his goals. Now we're going to see a Wurzburger goal that was assisted by Goldstein, the connection we talked about at the top of the show. And Wurzburger played well, had 3 goals in that first half, and that was one of his goals.
As did Steve Meyer of Cornell, 3 goals.
Nice move by Gilberti to get Syracuse back in it as he just no assist. Watch him. He gets mugged here, really gets hit, still gets the ball off, and makes a nice shot low, went between the legs.
That was Syracuse's first goal, and it took them 21 minutes to get on the scoreboard.
And then we're going to look at Gate, Paul Gate, as he took a left-handed shot and got by Schmoler, one of the few times they really got to Schmoler. He's played an outstanding game for Cornell in the goal.
He went right and he shot left, and here is the statistical story of the first half.
You know, it's really funny because it doesn't tell much, really. There aren't any statistics there that really show why the Cornell should be so much ahead. But,
except for man-up goals, in which Syracuse had 6 opportunities and managed only 1 goal.
That's true, but I think that Cornell really has really put the hustle on, playing very, very well. And that, of course, that one extra, that whether there was 11 men on the field or not, a little bit of a confusion there. Obviously 1 goal would make an effect, but some people may question that as maybe the turning point.
Second half face-off right after this. And we're set now for the beginning of the second half. Syracuse and Cornell Syracuse has won 40 of the previous 69 games. Cornell with 29 wins. One game ended up in a tie. And last year, to reiterate, Syracuse walloped Cornell 22-7 down at Cholkoff Field. And to this point, the Big Red has returned the favor.
Well, Syracuse hasn't lost here since it was Cortland, I think, last team that defeated them here. And that was a number of years ago. But there's a lot of lacrosse left. 30 minutes. Face-offs right now become important when you're down.
Opening couple of minutes here in the second half will have a lot to say with the way this game ends up. Syracuse picks up the loose ball with Brett Kavanaugh looking back over his shoulder, seeing nobody. Nelson feeding in a crowd. Who's got it? Cornell gets it.
Well, they came up with the opening face, but an errant pass is going to cost them the ball, and they are going to be back on defense. Gyrie in the goal, as we mentioned, for Syracuse. Saw him warming up during the break.
Aaron Jones, the defenseman, takes it at midfield. A galloping gait he has up along the far sideline. Steve Meyer with 3 goals in the game. In the middle of Bob Cummings, who is 2. Now to Vince Angotti. And here's Goldstein. He hasn't scored yet. And here's Meyer with his 4th goal, and he beats Jim Gyrie after just 38 seconds of the second half. Gyrie opening the second half in the nets. And it's a quick baptism under fire for Jim Gyrie. And it's 11-3 Cornell.
Well, he's been there before. It's McNamara, number 18. You see the left hand and just went down low, one hop up, and you see all the movement now of the Cornell offense as they were moving up top, but they didn't even have to. They just took it. They didn't pass out. They just took it by himself. And Meyer picked up another goal.
And off the face-off, it's Cornell again. Lizio right down the chute, and it's knocked out of his stick. Chris Spadwini shoveling it ahead for Pat Donahue. Maintains the ball and his feet. Now Kavanaugh gives it up. They work it in close and they mishandle it again. Zoberti trying to tough it out.
Well, they're collapsing on him. At that point they did anyway. They had 3 guys on him, but they're really covering up the outlets. When you look for the open man, they're doing a nice job. Cornell playing well defensively.
Todd Curry may want it one-on-one.
And they're going to jump him again. They changed men on him.
He gives it up. Good short hop pickup by Zoberti. Now into a crowd, intercepted by Lizio. They return it to the goalie Schmoller.
Did not get a shot off.
They have forced the passes in the crowds and come away with nothing. Now Cornell's Charlie Caliendo runs it across, and he'll leave it on the ground for Tim Goldstein. Transfer out of Hofstra. Dan Pratt now over to play him. Back to Caliendo. Goldstein's going to play off the ball right now. Lizio with Chris Burt.
Now you can see, you'll see all the movement now as they take it out on top, and now everybody's going to start.
Caliendo against Kavanaugh gives it back to Goldstein. Caliendo drew the double team and they found the open man, but Syracuse gets it back.
8 goals down. Syracuse looking for some quick offensive help. We'll see how Gyrie does on the clears. I think his experience will show a bit more there. Generally a very good clearing goalie.
Tim McDevitt has come on for the Big Red. He wears number 44. And here's Jim Gyrie starting the second half. Matt Palin went the opening 30 minutes, allowed 10 goals. Again, Cornell applies the pressure. O'Donnell waited a little bit, threw it into traffic. Kavanaugh fortunate to pick it up, and he loses it to Francis. Well, Francis has great legs for a defenseman.
That's one of the statistics we didn't see.
And he feeds it down for McDevitt. Mulligan is there to help out.
That's off of Cornell. Well, that's one of the statistics you don't see, is that hustle and collapsing on the ball and being able to take the ball away. But they got it back. Syracuse did the same thing as
Mark Sofer runs off the field, number 32. He applied the pressure there against McDevitt. Now Dan Pratt. Gyrie doesn't wear the long pants when he plays, at least he hasn't today. Kyrie deflected in the middle to Kavanaugh.
Now see how the collapse? See how the collapse there?
And he beats the triple team, which means there should be a couple of men open, but Cornell does a good job of getting back. And outside it goes to Gate, Paul Gate. They got wood on him from behind, or aluminum. And Nelson picks up the loose ball. Gets the pick from Mapes. Gives it up, hard shot.
Oh.
There's a great save by Schmoller. He has played as fine a game in the nets as I've seen anybody play here against Syracuse.
You can't underestimate his ability and what he has added to this Cornell defense. There's the pass. There's the chop, broke the stick.
Todd Francis against Paul Gate. That was moments before the shot.
And they called, I believe it was a push, and they're going to get the ball off, or the stick off.
Illegal procedure.
Richie Moran, he always works the officials on the sideline.
Yes, he does.
Paul Gate, Curry, Rossi, now Mapes. And again it's Gate, now Curry.
Syracuse 1 of 7 on the man up. Shot.
They feed it in close, and Schmoller is there, rising to the occasion against Nelson. And they're talking to Syracuse, the Cornell defense is. Gate couldn't get that shot off. Now Curry. Curry, Gate, and Zilberti have the 3 Syracuse goals. Bad pass. Cornell gets it back.
That is a man-up opportunity that was wasted. 1 out of 7.
4 minutes into the second half, Cornell has scored the game's only goal in this second half. They lead it 11-3. Now Vivian and Cummings sending it crossfield for Paletta.
They're really
And
spreading
the
it
cutter,
out.
Keener, it's intercepted by Scaramuzzino. Steve Scaramuzzino feeds Nelson. Nelson, backdoor, score! Gordy Mapes coming in from the backside, and Syracuse on the scoreboard here in the second half.
And you're right, they're doing some talking down there. Scaramuzzino
Syracuse goal
started it
scored
off,
by
got it down to
Gordy
Nelson.
Mapes, assist to number 5.
Nelson gets it,
Nelson.
lost cage, nice
Goal by
leap.
number 3.
And Gordy Mapes,
assist, number 5.
high in the air,
It's
puts it
Cornell
past
11, Syracuse
Schmoller.
4.
11-4. Once again, we talk about the face-offs, and Syracuse has got to get more than their share in the second half to control the ball and get back into it offensively.
11-4, lots of time to go, 10:41 in this third quarter.
Oh.
Movement before
Yep.
the whistle.
That's the way to go. If you're Syracuse, you've got to hope for something like that. Now you get a chance to get that offense out there again, give the defense a chance to rest, and let's get some more goals. 11-4.
Curry, Kavanaugh, and Gate at Syracuse midfield. They attack Nelson, Mapes, and Zilberti. Long, Francis, and Paletta on defense.
And they
Also
have-
Aaron Jones out there.
They have played spectacularly through this whole game. Look at the crowd on the crease
And
there.
Kavanaugh shooting, and there's Schmoller. He seems to be down on the shot before it even comes. He knows where they're going.
He must have great vision because they really had him screened on that one, or attempted to screen.
And he spots Aaron Jones open in the middle of the field. Scaramuzzino picks him up. Cornell does a good job staying onside. Steve Long on the move. Waits for Lizio to come on. And so does Caliendo. And Mike Cummings
They gotta
enters.
jump out of the box there. You'll see it come into picture. Cummings right there.
Meyer set some vicious screens back there. That time they eluded it. Goldstein stops on a dime. And now Meyer. Down he goes. And the flag comes flying as well.
30 seconds. Hold against Syracuse. Let's see if we can see from the end zone. There he is, holding him up with that stick, hooked him along the leg.
Syracuse penalty charge number 36, Dan Pratt, holding 30 seconds. 30-second penalty on Syracuse holding.
So Cornell gets the man advantage. 9.5 minutes to go, third quarter, 11-4. Cornell led 6-0 at the quarter and 10-3 at the half.
They're 2 out of 3 on man-ups. This is their 4th opportunity.
Mike Cummings in close to brother Bob. Goldstein, Caliendo, and they try to sneak it to that man coming in from the back door. They've been very successful in completing that pass all game.
That was off a Syracuse stick. The official on this side said that it touched a Syracuse stick. Syracuse still man down.
And it's Goldstein, run off the play. Back outside to Cummings. Caliendo. Goldstein feeding the crease for the goal by Meyer, his 4th of the game.
Meyer is just in perfect position all the time, and I don't know how they got the ball to him and how he managed to get the shot off. Let's see on the replay. Goldstein, the man who does most of the feeding, well, they got him on the crease. They got there late. They slid late. I believe that's a man up. I don't know if they were even yet or not. They were even.
Meyer's 5th goal of the game. He's got both goals this half.
So they were even, but just as Syracuse now down 12-4.
Todd Curry wins the face. Quadruple team momentarily now up ahead. Syracuse gets it to Cavanaugh. He's got an avenue to the goal. Switching directions. Balancing out the field. Donahue changed hands, feeds in close. And Gordy Mapes missed the gimme. He scored moments ago from that same spot. This time he couldn't get it. What a move by Aaron Jones. And another fine move. And he spots Mulligan. Mulligan cruising right by. O'Donnell does a good job of getting back. Now Goldstein. Jackrabbit quickness. And Gotti is coming on.
Goldstein, the assist man, takes a long pass. But he has really been doing his job assist-wise.
And Gotti has it. Caliendo comes on. He beats Scaramuzzino coming out of the box. And Gotti can't hold on to the return pass.
That should get out of bounds.
And he can't save it.
There's the man-up goal situation. 2 of 4 for Cornell. Syracuse 1 of 7. The last one was not a man-up goal for Cornell. It was close to it, but they were even. But Cornell has really been dominating the action. 12-4.
Syracuse getting some new legs into the game. Keith Owens on for the first time. Junior out of Port Washington, number 1, Keith Owens.
He's an All-American at Nassau Community College, junior college transfer.
And Gate looking for the one-on-one power move, but he can't get it. Great defense.
Oh, they're doing a job on him.
And they disrupt Syracuse offensively again. Here's Owens. The Gate brothers along with Owens, and they can't hold on to the ball.
That's Steve Long, number 12, doing such a good job defensively.
Gary Gate in close behind the back shot, Zoberti. Nelson saves it. And Nelson gets his pocket picked by Vivian. And the Cornell crowd is loving it.
Syracuse now going to add to a disadvantage. Detected slashing. And right in front of that bench, you can see the man talking on the phone. If we get another shot of him, they really love to use that walkie-talkie. You can see the aerial there in the left-hand corner. There he is, right in the center of the screen. There's a good shot of him. And they really like to use that. And Richie Moran now conferring as they set up this man-up offense, which has been 2 for 4, which is excellent efficiency, 50% for a man-up. And they make Cornell take it back to the midfield line. They have to start right there.
Here comes Caliendo. And he goes to Steve Meyer with 5 goals, the star of the game. Outside. And over the head of Meyer, so Syracuse will get it back. We're down to 6:50 to go, third quarter. And Cornell continues to lead 12-4.
You know, I looked at Meyer. I know he's 6'3", but I said, look at his legs. I looked at his weight, Dave, 6'3", 170.
He looks to be a little bigger, Dale. Perhaps it's the padding, but plays very, very strong. Steve Meyer.
There's Curry with the wrap on the leg. They thought he had a little ankle problem, but that doesn't seem to have bothered him today.
Meyer's only a sophomore also out of West Hempstead, Long Island. Syracuse gets it down quickly to Burns, but they allow Cornell to get back defensively as they make changes. John Zilberti. Over the top he goes. Owens comes on with Curry and Kavanaugh now. Different combinations being used.
One-on-one.
Kavanaugh against Francis, or Curry on Francis. Here's Owen in traffic, and it's off the stick of Kavanaugh and out.
Seen quite a bit of that today, of missed opportunities and ground balls that went out of bounds. When they look at the tapes at this game, I'm sure Coach Simmons will find a lot of things that they've got to work on.
Mark Hoteling in the game now for Syracuse, number 23. Jim Egan's on as well, a freshman attacker. So Roy Simmons is pulling out all the stops, trying to get some kind of combination. Aaron Jones by Chris
Got
Burt.
great speed.
Aaron
Burt
Jones
on the bottom hand.
bouncing it out. Keener, and now Meyer is there. Meyer giving it back up in a crowd. Keener pulls it down. He's got Goldstein, and he goes to him.
Syracuse picking up man for man now as they.
Bob Cummings is running the show. And Gotti's on the left. He gives it to him. Up top, Keener loses the ball. And Badwini tries to beat him to the spot. Up for grabs, taken by the Orange. Intercepted by Cornell, regained by Syracuse. Now cross field they go, and they throw it away again.
That's one of the things we talked about. That's a fast break situation that now turns into an opportunity for Cornell.
5 minutes, 19 seconds to play, third quarter. Paul Schmoller to Steve Paletta. Back, they redirected to Schmoller. He's got Vivian to help out. In the middle, misplayed there by Caliendo, one of the few mistakes Cornell has made. And Syracuse comes away, unsettled situation. Can they spot an open man? Cornell takes away that fast break. Curry slows it down. Curry works.
He's getting double teamed. Now he's single teamed, but Caliendo's on him.
And he takes a bump, but he gets the shot away. But Schmoller played it perfectly again.
It wasn't a very hard shot. Speaking of shots, Dave, we have an interesting stat here. That was Syracuse's 29th shot. Cornell's taken 18. They've outshot them by 11 shots, and they're down by 8 goals.
How many saves does Paul Schmoller have?
Schmoller is hot. He's up to 20 now. That's fantastic, and he has been hot. So they're running into a combination of a lot of hustle. They're a little bit cold, and Schmoller's awful hot.
We got a penalty on Joe Lizio.
Cross-check.
Cross-check penalty.
See if we can see the cross-check. See, the shot was not much. It was a kind of a off-speed, and as you said, Schmoller right on it. You can see why he was honorable mention last year as a freshman.
Honorable mention All-America and the Ivy League Rookie of the Year. Once again, Syracuse trying to pass from behind the cage. And they have to go back to midfield as Rossi. Now Curry. Nelson, or is it Zilberti? Zilberti. Across the zone, the shot. And it's pulled in by Schmoller. Paul Gate took it. Vivian with Nelson coming at him. Up in the middle, Aaron Jones. Goes by Gate.
He's got good speed, and he's got good stick skills.
And he's got great moves. Three and a half minutes to go, third quarter. Steve Long way downfield for Wurzburger with Goldstein.
Meyer loose. 27.
Meyer's got 5 goals already. Now he's got it. Feeds the crease. Saved by Gyrie against Wurzburger. And an errant outlet pass. Scaramuzino can't get there. Cornell takes it back. That's been the story of the game.
You're absolutely right. The little things that, when I say little things, if you're really playing well in all other phases, you can make up for it. But they have not been playing well in all phases, and that's one of those things that can nag you when you lose the ball out of bounds and give somebody else another opportunity. As we said, Cornell, 19 shots now, but 12 goals. That's quite a percentage.
Goldstein doesn't get the pick by Angotti, but he gives it up. We're making Meyer. Now Angotti can't hold on to it. Scaramuzino seeing a lot more playing time in the second half. Curry comes out of the bench, and the pass intended for him is intercepted. Goldstein down to Wurzburger. Pipe! Rebound is in. Meyer has his 6th goal. And that all began when they tried to feed Curry coming off the bench. And he wasn't quite ready for it. It ended up in an interception, and Steve Meyer has goal number 6.
Here's Meyer, the man who has been so dominant. The rebound, and Gyrie tried to go over and pick it up. You know, we talked about stats, Dave. I've got Cornell for shooting about 65%. That every time when they shoot, they're scoring 65% of the time. That's really tough to stop.
And they've upped their lead now to 13-4, their biggest lead of the game. Lizio went down. He was pushed.
Lots of little penalties that don't show up on man-ups that give the other team possession. And once again, Cornell will get it. 9-goal differential. And as I said, Cornell scoring 65% of the time when they take a shot.
Lizio and Caliendo exchanging with Mike Cummings. Back to Caliendo. They tie him up literally and take it away. Chris Burt giving it up. Saved by Schmoller. Greg Burns came in at point-blank range, and Schmoller was there.
Another penalty without the ball. Going to give a turnover and give the ball to Cornell.
What a job Paul Schmoller is doing.
He is just doing something that Richie Moran probably knew he could do and hoped he could do it against Syracuse. And he went down in that one hopper, got his stick up. And we'll see, there's the pick right there as they went after Schmoller.
Cornell using Schmoller to help them get the ball upfield. Under 2 minutes to go, third quarter. In the middle, it's Angotti. Syracuse, no goals in the first quarter and only 1 here in the third. Cornell will keep it with Goldstein. Down he goes to Keener, and Cummings gets the ball from him. Bob Cummings. Outside he goes to Keener again. Mike Cummings is a freshman. Bob is a senior. They're out of Holy Trinity High School in Wantagh, Long Island. Keener dribbled it, almost had it taken away. Instead, he picks it up, puts a shot on the net. And there's Meyer for the save. Meyer's got 6 goals. Up top to Keener. He cranks, he shoots. Cornell keeps.
Cornell has excellent team speed, including that man right there, Keener, and they have used it a lot today.
Bill O'Hanlon comes on, a freshman from Canandaigua, and then he runs off before he sees any action. Cummings broke free, the net is empty, and he scores. Against the defense of Steve Scaramuzino.
Now they doubled the ball, hoping they could get a turnover, and using the goalie to play defense, left the cage open. It's a gamble. It didn't work that time.
And it backfires in a big way. 14-4.
There's Gyrie, and there's the jump right there that Cummings got. Cornell now has 12 men. Now they're getting them off. There we go.
Little taunting after that goal by Bob Cummings.
Yeah, Cummings is excited. Last year, don't forget, they got shellacked down at Cornell, 22-7.
Scored by number 9, Bob Cummings, with an assist to number 15, Tim Goldstein.
Bill Dirtle on the face against Lizio, and Lizio down on the turf, still working at it, and he wins it, or at least he did for a moment.
Well, possession was declared, but I don't think anybody has really gotten the ball.
Lizio wraps it back. Kavanaugh takes it for Syracuse. Lizio from behind. They're working down quickly. They feed it back, and the save by Schmoller again.
Yeah, the pipe helped him out there. But he was in great position. The ball went up over his shoulder, hit the pipe, and they got it at the midfield. Aaron Jones, ball down on the ground.
But Cornell is there with Steve Paletta.
That's one of those things that doesn't show in the stats, being in the right place at the right time.
Mulligan dumped on the double team, but he's back up, and he's got it.
Yep, that's what we just said. They really are all over. When that ball's down, they seem to be in the right place.
15 seconds to go, third quarter. Cornell's going to hold it to get possession and avoid a face-off to begin the fourth quarter, I believe. Or will they get a shot away?
There's no man down.
That's right. And at the horn, it's saved by Gyrie. The end of 3, and the Big Red and their fans rising to the occasion. They lead it 14-4.
(14-4) the score. Cornell up by 10 goals, and there will be a face-off. They change directions. Syracuse will be attacking to the right of the screen, and Dave Cohen, they have a big 11 goals to score if they want to win this game, and on the other hand, they have to hold Cornell scoreless.
Not only is the margin 11, but you're shooting against a man who's playing one of the finest games in goal that I've ever seen, Paul Schmoller. Cornell and Cortland are the only teams that have ever won here in the Dome. And I believe if Cornell wins by a margin comparable to this, it will be the most one-sided victory by an opposing team here in the Carrier Dome. 15 minutes of lacrosse to go. Paul Keener on the face-off against Pat Donahue. And it is Francis who comes out of there, and he's demonstrated all game long. He's got speed and strength for a big man, knocked away from behind nicely by Kavanaugh. Wurzburger is tied up by O'Donnell.
Incidentally, that was Kurt Pratt on the face-off. We said we saw some new faces getting in, and Kurt Pratt out of Jamesville DeWitt was in for the face. But Cornell came up with it, and Syracuse with a hold. I don't think there was possession, so it should be even. But the stat that isn't shown there, and as you can look at the shots, Syracuse 32-23. It's amazing. But we said that Cornell is actually shooting about 65%. Make it higher now.
As Steve Meyer gets his 7th goal of the game. Gyrie stopped it, but it had enough momentum to keep on rolling in.
There's the drive from the back of the cage, and Meyer, the 6'3", 170-pounder, puts in the 15th goal for Cornell. And Roy Simmons Jr. has to be wondering what he's got to do here. And of course, he's got to wonder what we're going to do the rest of the season here. What do we got to work on? And as I said, another thing that seems that Cornell always seems to be in the right place at the right time. It's one of those things it's difficult. You can't coach it, but boy, they sure had used it today. Face-off, ball down. Kirk Pratt again out there, number 20, ball up in the air.
And where is it?
Yeah, they've signaled possession for a second, and
Neil Alt, number 8, is on. He takes that shot, and there's Schmoller pulling it in. He's vacuuming everything, and here comes Cummings. Giving it up to Goldstein. He took his eye off the ball. Goldstein trying to run it down. And Syracuse has it. Keith Owens. All the way, gives it up to Burns. And a shot is wide. Off the stick there, Mark Hotaler. 7 goals and 2 assists in the game by Greg Meyer. Steve Meyer.
Doing some quick arithmetic. Once again, Cornell, I said 65%. It actually comes out to 63%. Every time they have taken a shot, 63% of the time they have scored. This is, of course, Syracuse's clear by Owens, and the eventual shot and retain a possession by Syracuse.
Here's Alt trying hard again for that shot. Outside, Schmoller, another save. The rebound, and Schmoller gathers that in as well. Francis took his eye off it, and Gate has it. At midfield, Gate. Far sideline, Alt. Hotaler.
Drive.
14 is Burns. Jim Egan is on now, number 9. Hard to tell the 8 from the 9
right.
on the jersey. I thought Alt was shorter, and my suspicions are confirmed. Owens against Long.
Crowded on the crease. They're going to jump.
Bounce shot.
Owens.
Schmoller again with a save.
Not a very hard shot, taking nothing away from Schmoller, but that was not the shot they wanted.
McNamara sending it back to Owens. And now it's Gate. Man-to-man by Cornell. Gate goes by everybody. Oh, was blocked out by Schmoller, who came out of his cage to stop that one. What do they have to do to get it by him?
Well, they've got a unit in that was not really got a lot of experience, and they're not moving as well away from the ball as you'd like to see.
Egan against Jones.
And they're going to get doubled and
High
tripled.
shot intended for Hotaling, and Cornell's going to get it.
Well, you see all the red jerseys. You see a lot of the white jerseys, and they're able. There's the save that earlier by Schmoller. But we've seen a lot of people, and as a unit, they might not be working as well as maybe the first unit, but Coach Simmons juggling a lot of people in and out.
By the way, the Cornell record for goals in a game by an individual is 10. Set back in 1940 by Bob Brennan against Pennsylvania.
I knew that.
More recent times, 8 goals, of course, this year by Wurzburger.
Yeah, he had 8 against Cortland.
In the middle, it's Caliendo. Mike Cummings open down the left sideline. And here's Meyer. Behind the cage, Goldstein. Mike Cummings. And a big push. That's going to give the ball back to Cornell.
Scaramazino on the push. And you'll see the Scaramazino. There it is.
Paul Schmoller, by the way, holds the Cornell record for saves in a game. He and Bob Rule, each with 27. Schmoller did it last year against Brown.
Well, he's got 25 now.
I'd say he's got a shot at breaking that record. Goldstein and O'Donnell. Intended for Lizio, and Myers back to try to save it, but he can't.
Yes, we've got 25 saves now for Schmoller. Syracuse saves 10 saves. And 15 goals by Cornell.
Stouffer and Gyrie, Pat Donahue on the far side. Mike O'Donnell and now Todd Curry changing directions on Evan Conway, number 45. Curry trying to sneak in. Schmoller with number 26. Uncanny. Hotaling back to Curry. Cranks. Schmoller again. And again.
And Vivian's also been in there with him. He gets 2 more saves.
And on that exchange there, he may have just gone over the 27 mark and established a new Cornell record.
Watch, he is really, this is tough when he is this hot. There's a stick save, which he deflects. You'll also see Vivian in there with him, 16. Watch the other one. Low, comes back out off his foot. And then they picked illegally, so we get a chance to work on that record. Syracuse working the ball around. They're man up.
15-4 is the score.
Ball deflected.
Outside to Curry, sends it back into a crowd. Schmoller again against Gordy Mates. At halftime, I talked to Roy Simmons Sr., and he said, this lead is money in the bank with a goalie as hot as Schmoller. And now it's Francis.
There's the speed I was talking about defensively.
In close, behind the back attempt.
That's the time to try those.
By Mulligan. And Cornell is still going to keep it.
Watch the speed of Francis. He really got upfield quickly. And there's the behind the back shot, and it off target.
Not a bad opportunity there to try it because of his momentum. And here again is Schmoller. I think he got that with a stick, with the handle. And a score! Mike Cummings that time.
Goal number 16 for the Big Red. And you can't tell me they aren't thinking about last year's game. There's a looping pass, and all by himself. Number 8. Or was that 6? I'm sorry, it was Mike Cummings.
Goal by number 6.
Mike Cummings gets his first goal of the game, and Tim Goldstein with the assist.
Goal by number 6 Cummings, assist 15 Goldstein.
Bill Durgill on the face-off. Down he goes. He's pushed from behind by Joe Lizio.
And Syracuse 4.
16-4, a certified rout.
Incidentally, we have 7 assists unofficially for Goldstein, the man that we talked about coming in, and he had 26, I believe, coming in. So Goldstein is really played a spectacular game also for Cornell.
And it won't get any easier for Syracuse because Hobart comes in next Saturday here at the Dome as part of the spring football lacrosse doubleheader. That shot is high over the head of everybody off the stick of Hotaylor. Unofficially or officially, the Cornell record for assists in the game is 8 by Jim Trenz back in 1974. And there's Schmoller saving one more.
We talk about hot. That kid is just, as a sophomore, he is something else. And once again, Cornell in the right place at the right time.
Well, they had an opportunity for a 4-on-2. As it is, they have a 3-on-2. And Jim Gyrey gets it out of harm's way. Ahead to Cavanaugh. Has had trouble all game long catching the ball.
Syracuse has had trouble in general controlling the ball today.
Cavanaugh back outside. Greg Burns. Curry, he's going to crank it. Schmoller pulls it in. This is unbelievable. He is shattering the record that he held. Bob Cummings. They'll be talking about this game for a long time. Eight and a half minutes remaining. Cornell bunched up in front of the goal. Keener. Keener against Burns. And Cornell keeps it. Phil Schluter comes on, along with David Petain.
The only starting defenseman, I think, that started in close is O'Donnell is still out there.
Rob Persing is on.
Once again, the goalie playing defense.
And an empty net shot by Keener. He let it fly about 20 yards away and he nailed it. 17-4 is the score.
Gyrie was back playing defense. They doubled the ball, and there's the shot. Perfect, right in the middle of that 36 square feet, and Jim Gyrie just tried to get his stick on it, literally.
Cornell on the road in their next game a week from today at Dartmouth. Then they have Hobart on the 22nd of April.
You know,
Kirk Pratt off the face-off, Rossi.
One of the psychological problems Syracuse faces is they go into the really
And Schmoller saves yet another.
really important part of the season is that they've got to get a goalie here now. They've gone with Gyrie, then they've gone with the freshman, and now they replaced him with Gyrie again. And although, again, you can't blame the goalies, all right? They've had a lot of shots taken at them. You want to get their confidence back. And 17 goals is tough.
Steve Paletta playing to the Cornell crowd. And we have a timeout taken by the Big Red. 31 saves in the game to this point by Paul Schmoller. And we will be back after these words. And Cornell has a new man in the cage. Paul Schmoller, removed from the game, gets a standing ovation. We have him unofficially for 31 saves, which would be a new Cornell record.
A lot of Syracuse fans standing for that one too, because they know what a job Schmoller did.
The new goalie is Chris Modesti, and he is out of James Earl DeWitt High School. And Syracuse also with a new man in the cage, Joe Ryan. So this game began with a freshman from James Earl DeWitt in the goal for Syracuse, Matt Palem, and it will end apparently with another goalie from James Earl DeWitt, Chris Modesti. 7 minutes and 14 seconds to go, and Cornell in command, 17-4. 3,709 watching today on a beautiful day in Syracuse. Well, Dale, we had an upset a couple of weeks ago in the Hobart, Ohio Wesleyan game. This one will not go down as an upset, but the final scoring margin really will be a surprise to fans of both schools.
Well, as I said, I think they've got a lot to, as they get in the goal area and release the penalty.
Aaron Jones and company still on. There's Gate going by a number of red shirts, feeding to the crease, and the shot is wide, but saved by Syracuse. Curry rifles it high and wide.
We have now Schmoller for 31 saves, Dave. I think you mentioned, I don't know if we had him for 31, but that's what we've come up with as the final tally.
Jim Egan working one-on-one against Vivian, feeding one of the Gates, and there's a save by Modesti. Tosses it up for grabs. McNamara on the sideline. It's out of bounds. Who got it last?
I don't know if anybody touched it.
Syracuse is going to get it.
I don't think anybody touched it. One of the things Syracuse, as I mentioned, they want to elaborate a little bit on it. They want to find a goalie here that's going to take them the rest of the season. Again, they have got some defensive problems I think they want to work on, and some offensive problems perhaps, but well, you know, it depends. It's tough if you're a goalie. If you've got a real fragile ego and you get shelled sometimes, it's really tough, I think, to come back. And I know Matt's only a freshman, Gyrie a little more experienced, now Ryan, and I don't think they wanted anybody to get really shellacked, but both
Curry
Matt and
draws
Jim
a
Gyrie had
delayed
tough times
flag
with it.
against Goldstein, who clipped him on the face mask. And Curry bounces it wide of the cage. Syracuse will get it. Actually, the call is offsides.
Syracuse goalies up to this point have 12 saves. And Cornell has taken 28 shots.
Rossi getting it back. Now they tried to feed it inside to Zilberti. Usually you see him behind the cage on these kind of plays. Palette's in there battling.
Should be off
and
Paletta.
A frustrating poke by John Zilberti.
Paletta and that whole defense has played well. Vivian, Aaron Jones, and Paletta done a super job, and we'll see what happens when you're ahead by 13 goals and you're trying to get the ball against a frustrated team.
Zilberti took 4 swipes at it. And Cornell has it now. Under 6 minutes to play. They lose it. Long loses it. Taken away there momentarily by Rob Person, number 34. Golfed out of there. And sloppy play now in the closing minutes of the game, as you might expect. The outcome has not been in doubt for many moments. Great feed and a goal. Just a tremendous feed and the goal. I think it was John Heil who got the goal, the freshman out of Arnold, Maryland. It is, John. And if that assist is credited to Goldstein, we may have another record.
There's a nice pass. And John Heil, as you said, only a freshman out of Maryland, knew what to do with it when he got that. There it is. And you got to give Goldstein credit. He's up to the 8th assist. We've got him for 9, I think.
And the score is Cornell 18, Syracuse 4.
But Goldstein also closing in on a record.
We have him for 9 assists, which would be a new Cornell record according to their record book for assists in a game. Tim Goldstein, a junior transfer out of Hofstra. Lizio. They took the ball away from him on his backswing as the clock runs under 5 minutes now, and an 18-4 Cornell lead. What was that statistic defensively in terms of goals allowed by Cornell coming in?
They were giving up, they're giving up 6 goals, about 6.8 a game, and with 4 now. And of course, what they said was that they had not faced an offensive team of Syracuse's capabilities.
Well, they know their defense is really for real. As Cornell works here in the closing minutes, Jeff Hall, freshman out of Fayetteville, Manlius, whose dad is a lacrosse coach, watching. Good save by Ryan. And a backward shot, and a goal by Jeff Hall as he golfed it in right off the turn.
Everybody's
so Hall
seen it
gets his 4th goal of the year, and it's going to be a happy homecoming for him as well.
His dad, the head coach at Fayetteville Manlius High School, lacrosse coach, been there for many years. And behind the back, and then he golfs it after he does just what you're supposed to do on the crease. You're supposed to be garbage man. You find anything there, kick it toward the goal. That's exactly what Jeff Hall did after Moran. Kevin, the coach's 2 coaches' sons in there. Kevin Moran put it on the ground, and Jeff Hall knocked it in.
And now Kavanaugh picks it up. Tried to feed it to Burns, who cut in as the pass went behind him. And it's picked up by Rossi.
19, Syracuse 4.
Rossi. Outside he goes. Hotailing gave it up to Burns, and that was not a good shot.
But Curry, please report to
Interference, I think,
Curry
against.
to stadium.
Oh, no, it's not interference. It's a call against Cornell. There's Richie Moran.
10, Navy 1. With 5 minutes
Talking
remaining
to
in the third period. Army leads
one of his
London
players.
9-7.
4 minutes and 4 seconds to go in this game. And who would have thunk it?
Not too many people, I'll tell you that. You said Syracuse was actually the underdog coming in. maybe by a goal.
And they like being in that position, they said. Owens gives it up to Burns. Modesti saves it. And there's a ball that's loose and scooped up, taken out of there. Bill O'Hanlon running around with it, number 26, Modesti. Up ahead for Vivian, who's played a whale of a game defensively. Tim Vivian out of New Canaan, Connecticut. Now 3.5 minutes to go. And all New Jersey's in the game. Paul Shea, Hop Hog, Long Island, number 31.
You know, Modesti has looked good in the cage, and he's going to come out. He's had 3 or 4 saves.
Another goalie coming on now, John Colucci from Yorktown High School. He's a senior, replacing Chris Modesti.
Syracuse goaltender remains number 6, Joe Ryan. He replaced Jim Guyrie.
Tim Vivian got a big hug from Coach Richie Moran as he came off the field.
Well, you can't say enough about Vivian and Paletta and Jones and the big stick middies.
Paul Gate is double teamed and dropped near midfield. Picked up there by Cornell. They get it ahead quickly. Heil, who got a goal earlier. And there's a 2-on-1 in close and a big save by Ryan. Joe Ryan, small in stature, but playing well here in this game.
37, Todd Francis. We said one of the big stick minis also play well. Steve Long.
Ryan's been kind of a forgotten man, but he may have to figure in the picture. 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Kavanaugh saved by Colucci. You know, Dale, it's amazing. Syracuse had no goals in the first quarter. They had 3 in the second, and then you'd figure they've got to break out. They've had 1 goal in this entire second half. Steve Paletta comes off.
Now, before the game, Coach Simmons was quoted in the paper saying he likes the defense of Cornell, and I can see why.
Kavanaugh tried to sneak it down low. You know, Cornell may go on to win more significant games this year, but I can't believe they could ever play a better all-around game.
Well, this certainly is the right point to win this big game as they head up towards the end of their season and head toward the playoffs.
Egan tried it. Hotailing picks it up. Hotailing looks like he wants the shot. He does, but Colucci has his second save. And hot-footing it out of there is Paul Shea. Tried to loop it for Heil in front of the cage. And with a minute 45 to go, Syracuse has it.
So far, all 3,709 of you, we ask you please to stay off the playing field when the game is over.
Next week it'll be the Statesmen of Hobart and the Orangemen of Syracuse.
Please stay off the playing field.
And the game will be preceded by the annual spring football game. In the closing stages of this one. Picked up by Peter Allen. 1 goal in the second half by Syracuse. Owen with a minute 20 seconds remaining. Going right. Going into traffic, shooting and scoring. So Keith Owens gets the goal. And that is his first of the season.
We'll see it avoids 3 people, and there's the offside shot. Actually, not the offside, but to the wide side.
That's his first college goal for Syracuse, but not really a time for rejoicing. Schmoller looking on.
Syracuse goal by Keith Owens, number 1. Goal by Owens, number 1.
Gate picks it up. It's 19-5 with a minute to go.
Syracuse 5.
And Colucci with a violation going in and out and back into the crease. Case of his momentum carrying him that way. 19-5 is the score.
Cornell ranked number 2 coming into this game. Maryland number 1. And of course, Cornell just in the right spot, they feel.
And look for Syracuse to take a precipitous fall in the ratings, losing by this big a margin at home. Empty net, and the goal is in. As the goalie Colucci came out of there, who got it? Either Egan or Gate.
We'll get it for you in a second. Syracuse lost earlier this year to Adelphi, 19-9. And once again, they have given up 19 goals.
But if there's one thing true about college lacrosse this year, there seems to be more parity and more of a chance for anybody to knock anybody else off in a given game.
And Maryland didn't come from nowhere. People knew that they had some decent people, but maybe a little bit of a surprise.
Keener with a win on the face and Ryan with a save. And little Joe does a good job. Mike Ciano in the game, number 41. Up ahead he goes. 30 seconds to go. Colucci saves and rakes it in.
The last Syracuse goal is by number 9, Jim Egan.
Jim Egan got credit on that last goal.
Gets the goal.
There's Ciano picking it up, but the whistle had blown. Mike Ciano on this field a couple of years ago made that touchdown catch against Nebraska. His football eligibility is up. Drafted by the Cleveland Browns. And Cornell beginning their celebration as Keener comes off the field. "10 seconds to go, and no doubt about it, one of the great victories in Cornell history as Richie Moran gets the Gatorade bucket on the sideline. It's all over. Cornell wins it.
Syracuse
19-6 is the final score for Cornell, a payback for last year's 22-7 defeat in Ithaca. We'll be back to talk with the outstanding goalie, Paul Schmoller, and others after this. Final score here was Cornell 19 and Syracuse 6. With us now is Cornell head coach Richie Moran. And Richie, I mentioned to Dale in the closing moments that you may win more significant games this year, but I don't think you could ever play a greater all-around game.
There's no question, Dave. I thought we had a picture-perfect first quarter. Paul Schmoller's saving ability, his ability to lead the fast break for us, his saves are unbelievable. It's the best goaltending I've ever seen in my 19 years of lacrosse.
And it's a record, too, 31 saves.
It is, and there's no question. We had, I think, 9 All-American goalies, and there's no doubt in my mind, I don't want to jinx Paul, but that was the finest performance ever by a Cornell goalie. Danny McAsee had it in the playoffs against Maryland, 76, and Paul Schmoller had it today. And we played against a great Syracuse team. Our players had tremendous respect for Syracuse, and I think that's why we played so well.
What was your game plan coming in defensively to take away from them?
Our game plan was to shut off when the ball went to the wings, try to neutralize their offense as much as possible with good hard checks, and play good position on their outside shooters to prevent them from going to the cage, which they're accustomed to doing. And our midfield defensive people, Todd Francis, Brian McCormick, all the way down the line, Steve Long, every one of those young men, Mike DiStefano, Evan Conway, our long stick defensive group did an unbelievable job for us. They neutralized Syracuse's offense throughout the whole first half.
You know, the defense was so easy to spot, Richie, but unofficially we have you, every time you shot the ball or when you did shoot, you scored 60% of the time. That's rough. That's pretty good offense, too.
Well, we're pretty pleased to have John Wurzberger and Timmy Goldstein and Steve Meyer as an attack unit here at Cornell because they work very, very well together. And then the people coming off the bench do a great job for us. In practice, our attack personnel really run our defense, and I think it's made our defense a much better team.
You got to be pleased, right? You guys really pointed to this game, and the papers quoted you saying, obviously, this is your biggest game so far. You've played other teams, but this was as far as talent, this was the best team you're going to face up to this point, and you've got to be real pleased that as you head into the shank of the season and towards the playoffs.
No question about it. You know, people wrote us off last year. The obituaries were written. We had some tough luck last year. I have a lot of compassion for those players that were in the game down at Shokov last year when we got mauled down there, and there's no question. Our players were thinking about that all week. We did get some letters from those players. We did get some phone calls. They would have loved to have been on that field today, but that's athletics. You know, you work hard every game. Syracuse worked hard today. We worked extremely hard, and there's no question about it. We're pleased with where we are right now, but we now know we're going to have to play top-notch lacrosse from here on out. We go on the road for about 3 or 4 more games, and then we get back to Shokov somewhere around April 25th, and we love to play on the road. The Carrier Dome, the class of the people here at Syracuse is tremendous. The fans in the stands, the Syracuse fans, the Cornell fans applauded all great plays.
Richie, we want to thank you, and quite a payback for last year's game.
Well, I don't believe in that. This is 1987, and all we want to do is just play hard for 87.
Good luck for the rest of the way, Rich.
Thank you.
Richie Moran, head coach of Cornell. They won today 19-6. Now we want to bring in to the interview position the outstanding goaltender in today's game. You heard Richie Moran say that was the greatest performance he's ever seen, and we certainly mentioned those similar thoughts. Paul Schmoller, a record 31 saves today. Paul, what a game. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You seemed to be down on the low shots before they were coming, up high on the high shots. Did you have some kind of intuition today to know where they were shooting?
Not at all. I was just very, very aware of where the ball was, and very conscious of what they were doing. When their stick was going down, I was trying not to go down because they usually do a golf shot up top high, and I was just watching the ball.
Well, Paul, what was the scouting report on the Syracuse offense and the attack when you guys worked this week?
Very good on moving the ball around. Very good offside and cross cage passes. So we were really trying to watch their passes and anticipate slides down low, and I think we did a pretty good job of that. And
you got a lot of help from your defensive players today too. They really, I thought, played very, very well, and your big stick minis, everybody really helped out. It was kind of a real unity effort here with you and the defense. You played a great game.
Well, I'd have to say it's the best team defense we've played since I've been here at Cornell, and 3 seniors on defense and a great defensive middies, Todd Francis up top. They add so much support to me, and the shots they were getting were out far, and I was able to save them.
Paul, 2 quick final questions. Is this the best game you've ever played?
Definitely.
And
throughout my lacrosse career, this is definitely the best game, the most exciting game I've played.
They say sometimes a great baseball hitter can see the ball, even see the stitches. Did you see the ball better today than you ever have?
I think so. Definitely. Todd Curry's shot is extremely fast, and a few of his high off-stick shots were I was just reading right into my stick.
Well, I know Syracuse doesn't want to see you again for quite a while. Congratulations, Paul.
Thank you very much.
Nice game, Paul.
Thank you.
Paul Schmoller, whose brother John played on the Syracuse national championship team. So there's your final score. Cornell defeating Syracuse 19-6. Syracuse now goes to 4-3 on the year, and Cornell with a perfect 7-0.